Why hello there, my name is Wyatt Baker, and I'm going to show you the advancement of helicopters. Leonardo da Vinci was the first of his time to come up with the idea of a helicopter. This diagram is called the air screw because of the way it is shaped. He was a painter, architect, and also an inventor back in the 1500s. His idea of the helicopter was revolutionary because it shied away from the hot air balloon or fireworks that the Chinese came up with for flight. It also wasn't bent on the up and down motion of wings like a bird that other scientists came up with. The reason Leonardo da Vinci's idea was never actually built was because in the 1500s they didn't have enough power to gain lift off the ground, and so it just couldn't be done. 1907 was the first recorded date of vertical human flight. His name was Paul Cornu. The helicopter had a rotor at each end of the frame and was powered by a gas motor and belt. The rotor spun in opposite direction to get rid of torque reaction. Torque reaction is the equal and opposite response to torque, which causes an object to rotate around an axis. This was one of the biggest problems with early built helicopters. They would spin around in circles and not be able to get flight because nothing would stop the helicopters from spinning. This is where a tail rotor comes in. A tail rotor cancels out the torque reaction by pushing the back end of the helicopter the opposite direction the main rotor is spinning, therefore keeping the helicopter from spinning. Finally, Paul Cornu obtained vertical flight and proved it was possible. This opened up the idea of transportation being enabled by a helicopter. The Bell 30 was the first commercially certified helicopter. It came out in 1951 and was invented by a brilliant inventor named Arthur Young. Over 5,000 were made in the U.S. The bellhop consisted of a cockpit, landing skis, and a tail rotor. Many helicopters today are built and have the same structure as this one does. Next we are going to be talking about the helicopter's role in the military. It first started with the Korean War. The main role of the helicopters during the Korean War was to medevac injured troops out of the war zone. Over 21,000 men were medevaced to a hospital. This put a whole new perspective to the art of war. It was later after the war guns were placed on helicopters. This was done in secrecy because it was deemed unfair. Now we use them to defend transport helicopters and attack the enemy. The V-22 Osprey was a huge step in the helicopter business. It takes off vertically like a helicopter, but once airborne, the blades rotate to convert it into a turboprop plane. This lets it fly higher and faster than a normal aircraft can. But because it's a helicopter, it can land in tight areas where a plane could not. It was invented in 1999 and was a very large stepping stone in the history of aircrafts. Helicopters are not only used for the military and war, but are also used in our daily lives, such as putting out forest fires. The helicopters go to a lake or water source and pick up as much water as they can, then fly over the fire and drop it. They repeat this until the fires are extinguished. They can also be used for recreational fun. In this photo, it shows two men jumping out of a helicopter. This is called skydiving. Don't worry though, he has a parachute. A lot of helicopters are used for news channels. Helicopters let the news teams get live footage and scenes that other land vehicles couldn't get. Plus, they can now keep us up with car chases and we can watch them live. If you have a lot of money, helicopters can also be used for private transportation. The president owns his very own helicopter and it can fly him wherever he wants, faster than a car and easier than a plane would. Some extremists also use helicopters for stunts, so they do loop-de-loops and backflips in them for fun. There are also toy helicopters known as drones. These drones fly very steadily, and just for fun, I'll show you what you can do with them. That last shot was taken with a 4-prop Phantom drone and is very useful for those kind of shots for filming, and you know what, they're just a lot of fun. Well, I just showed you the advancement of helicopters and how helicopters are used in our modern day lives, And so now I advise you to go learn something new about something else. And I'm going to fly out of here.